From the Joy News Center. This is News at 8.
Coming up in the bulletin tonight, 2 suspected armed robbers lynched in the Ashanti region, Irving, as the regional capital remains in panic mode over recent killings. Star witness for petitioners in election petition hearing confronts EC about its explanations for printing duplicate serial numbers on its forms, as counsel for third respondent also applies to begin cross-examination of more witnesses. Contractor working on Job 600 project for MPs requests additional $26 million to complete it. Meanwhile, the contractor on the Tamale-Salaga road is threatening to abandon the project if government fails to pay for work done so far. And in international news, the UN wants the world to eat more insects. All that and more coming up.
News at 8 with Israel Lai.
Our very first story, 2 suspected armed robbers have been lynched at Ichima Boko in the Ichima Kwauma district of the Ashanti region in the early hours of Monday. The suspects are alleged to have robbed residents of mobile phones and valuable items. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin sent this report.
The residents described the incidents of armed robbery in the area as alarming. According to them, the past 6 months have been characterized by a series of robberies and assaults. They recalled an incident where a woman was raped and stabbed to death by suspected armed robbers. Angered by these chain of events, the youth say they decided to take the law into their own hands by lynching the suspects, since the police have failed to protect them and arrest the criminals. Kofi Anane, a teacher in the area, however, asked the police to dispatch a patrol team to the area. Another resident, Mabana, expressed her frustration at the recent spate of attacks in the area. The assemblyman for the area, Godwin Mensah, also appealed to the police for protection. 1 locally manufactured pistol and 2 cartridges were found on the suspects.
The use of the taxi by the police to convey the bodies of the suspected armed robbers has got many wondering. The police also had no hand gloves whilst lifting the bodies, as you saw there in that story. And other news, although Joy News checks have revealed that the Ultramodern landfill site at Bong may not live up to its expected 15-year lifespan, it appears there are a lot more issues to be dealt with as far as the site is concerned. The site, which is close proximity with residents of the Tema light industrial area, has been a source of worry due to the stench it spreads across the habitation. Some of the residents expressed fears the stench may forcefully evict them in a few moments if appropriate measures are not taken.
It is a refuse dumping site, but what makes it different is that this is an engineered landfill site. Here, filth dumped is supposed to be treated to avoid stench especially. A few months into its operations, filth from across the capital has helped reveal a particular deficiency of the site. Residents speak bitterly of the situation. Paul Latte and Antiesi have lived here for over 20 years. They shared their experiences over the past 3 months with me.
This boiler work they are doing there, this drainage will bring them all here, passes here to the community, and it's affecting the community very well. The wind direction too is giving problem to us. We can't sleep. The smells go to our rooms.
Boiler no prama boa obwan. Odintutu na whistle wash one whistle so optum bahapa tabwanda obwan. Oda boiler was the creature kakrama.
Some would not speak for fear of victimization, but others could not hide their frustrations.
The chiefs or so we can't say anything about it. Where are they? I don't know.
We want that to help us. the sense to live here around. Sometimes you'll be worried, you don't know how you do. The scent there is too much, it's too much.
At certain time, you hear the scent. When the air changes over, you hear the scent coming down. Even not 2 months, this is what we are facing here. What about when it becomes about 1 year and 2 years? Then, you know, they will throw us out of this place. It has already been done, but a proper care must be taken so that we the people around here, don't have any sickness or anything of that. So, yeah.
It was a difficult task knowing who was in charge to answer questions. People on site were unwilling to address the issue, referring us to the TMA. They in turn referred us to the Katamanso District Assembly. They attempted some answers.
This is known to everybody. That is creating confusion. The problem started when we started using it. Now that we are detecting the problems, we are going to write officially about the problems, and then we will enumerate all these things.
They indicated they were overwhelmed by the situation and called for central government's intervention.
This problem cannot be solved only by the district assembly, but we have to do it with the government, the local government under which we operate. Officially, the place has not been opened officially. Officially? Yes. This is being done because of the problem in Accra, where they don't have anywhere. I agree it's in use. This is a project which needs to be tested. So for us, we see this period as a testing period. There is nothing the assembly can do than to talk or put up some meetings to discuss the issue. The assembly don't have the capacity now.
They claim some documentation to confer some powers on them with which they can deal with the issue has yet to be done. This danger and its escalating potentials are not new to the authorities, but for now, the refuse keeps coming in drones. The health implications for these people obviously building up. A little attention, however, and this could be a major solution to the huge sanitation challenge the country faces. Gifty Andoapia for Joy News.
The contractor executing the Tamale-Salaga Road project, AN Ghanem Limited, has threatened to abandon the site at the end of this month if government refuses to complete payment for work done on the project so far. AN Ghanem was contracted by the Ghana Highway Authority in October last year to construct the 62.4 kilometer Tamale-Salaga Road at the cost of 28.21 million Ghana cedis. Work on the project is expected to be completed in October this year, but now it appears unlikely.
Of the Eastern Corridor Road project. The 62.4-kilometer road project, which started sometime in October last year, is about 40% complete. Major construction works, including earth clearing and the construction of culverts, have already been carried out on the road. The road, when completed, would ease traffic on the Tamale-Salaga stretch and will assist in the transportation of agricultural produce, including yam from Salaga to Tamale. But the road construction project is under threat of a major delay. Since October, when the contract was awarded to AN Ghanem Limited, government has failed to provide additional funds for the speedy completion of the road project. Project engineer Samuel Edu told Roads and Highway Minister Alhaji Amin Amidu and his team of engineers during an inspection tour of the project that the company will be forced to pack out of the project site by ending of May this year if government does not commit funds into the completion of the road.
Well, we are not glad that we are suspending the road because there's no money to continue the structures. That is our main problem now. We don't have money for this.
You don't have the money, you accept the contract. You know, Ghana government contract, you have to wait before we pay.
That is true. That is true. But unfortunately, there have been other projects.
But you've been doing very well in the past, so but, you know, we'll pay you.
He added that it was becoming difficult to pre-finance the project as the company's funds had been locked up in other completed works. The Northern Regional Director of the Ghana Highway Authority, Kwame Kranchie, also told the road minister there was the need to protect the investment already made on the road by undertaking more filling works and culverts.
The problem that we are having is that it seems it's doing more of the filling works without putting in the drainage structures. That's the cross drains, even the drains on the sides of the road. And I'm telling you that when you do that, you haven't finished with the project, because if we pay and you leave the site, the whole thing can get washed off. Again, we're still designing the project. Maybe there could be a point that we will know that we will think that the level of fill is not adequate. So the drainage structures are there, we'll be able to monitor if we get into the rainy season. So this is the problem that we have with him. We are also saying that, yesterday or two, we had a letter from the contractor telling us it's ready to demobilize from site because of non-payment by the end of this month, May. That's the only issue that we have now. By the end of the month, May.
Roads Minister Alhaji Suleimani, however, appealed to the contractor to bear with the government and continue with the project as it worked towards clearing the backlog of unpaid road construction arrears. The minister and his team also inspected the 103.39-kilometer Buipe-Tamale Road. Currently, the project being executed by China Jiangxi Corporation for Economic and Technical Cooperation is about 56% complete. The Buipe-Tamale Road project is being jointly financed by the government and the International Development Assistance of the World Bank. The resident engineer Solomon Sumi said there was the need for the urgent construction of bad sections of the road so it did not erode the gains made on other sections. The minister expressed worry about the absence of road signs on the stretch and advised the contractor to mark completed portions of the stretch to improve visibility at night and consequently reduce accidents.
The safety is as important as a good road. So whilst we are working, we want to make sure that the road is also safe for users, particularly the markings, so that people are driving, they know where to pass and then safe. That's very, very important. Yeah, especially in the night. So please, he said that he has told you that if you don't do the markings, he won't allow you to work. So are you prepared for that?
Yes, we are prepared.
All right, you do that. Very important. And then ensure that this road, we worked on it not too long ago, but we finished this road about 1996 thereabout. And we are spending so much money again to do it. So we want to make sure that this time we have value for money.
Government has announced that it will hold daily press briefings at the Flagstaff House, Accra. A statement signed by Deputy Minister for Information and Media Relations, Felix Kwachiofosu, said the move forms part of efforts to deepen government public engagement. The statement indicated that the daily press briefings will start from Thursday, 16 May 2013 at 11 a.m. and reflects government's commitment to fulfill the fourth pillar of the NDC 2012 manifesto, which promised transparent and accountable governance. Mr. Kwachiofosu explained that the daily press briefing, which will be addressed by the Minister for Information and Media Relations, will afford Ghanaians an opportunity to have insight into government activities, policies and programs. He added it will also create a platform where government will state its position on critical emerging national issues and other clarifications on these issues where necessary. The people of Abonya, a village near Dodowa, are still living in fear following an attack by suspected land guards late last month. Weeks after the incident, the horrified residents are refusing to return to the village for fear of being attacked again by the armed men who threatened to return.
Abonya at this time of the season, on any other day, according to the people, will be very busy with the mango business. People come from neighboring towns and villages and from the central business district to transact business. But this is that community today. Almost a ghost town. The alleged land guards destroyed properties and physically assaulted children and some women using machetes and guns. Solomon Soji, who was physically assaulted, told Joy News he is constantly living in fear, but the arrival of the news team gave him hope.
The first I don't feel comfortable walking around, but now I feel comfortable.
Tay Matthew, who also suffered cutlass wounds, shed tears when he tried engaging the news team in a conversation. Recounting his ordeal was a challenge.
I'm not feeling happy because
how they did to us, I'm not feeling happy. And we just came here and come and cook and go back. What is going on, we can't predict it. And so we want them to come and help us.
The chief of the Abonya abandoned the village to save his life. He alleged the attackers returned later with a group of policemen to scare them off the land. He said they captured the name and number of one of the officers that came with the attackers the second time.
Police for Police for Langas. Now, member, one Namakome number. Actually, Mr. MK Insia. MK Insia. I'm a common just what units. Ni number G 41192. Mr. Nilole Namakabaji. DP. The Monisa Patrol. DP. 2631. Nilole Namakaba. Oh, okay, no one. Oh, one government for any Kayaomi. Nika police for a jam. Best stop me.
This woman, who says she almost died at gunpoint because she refused to give up the husband who the attackers were after. The few people that the news team met, we were told, come in the morning to change their clothes and prepare food, then flee Abonya to other neighboring villages for fear of losing their lives. Even though there is security presence, the safety of the people is still not assured. Efforts to reach the divisional commander to clarify the allegations were unsuccessful.
We're taking a break. We have more news coming up. Don't go away. Work in 2007 should be over in 6 weeks, but without fixtures and fittings. The contractors want an additional $26 million from government to complete the edifice for parliamentarians to take occupancy. This was made known when Sector Minister Collins Zada toured the facility today.
Sector Minister of Works and Housing Collins Dauda, his deputy, some technical men from the ministry and consultants of the ADK consortium, ahead of the completion of the Job 600, toured the facility to assess the level of work done. Resident engineer Bentil Enchel briefed the minister and his entourage about work done so far.
Now the interior works are being tackled from top down, and you'd have noticed that up on the 11th floor, doors had been fixed. Lighting was in place, air conditioning was functioning. As you came down to lower floors, some of these may be missing, but we are working on all of this at the same time. A little down the line, we expect to close up all the offices and tackle a bit of remedial work all over.
Chairman of the ADK consortium, Michael Kreku, explained their request for the additional amount.
The top-up is 26 million. The 26 million, I think 13 million goes for the furniture and fixtures. In about 6 weeks' time, we should have all the offices done, ready for the fixtures and the fittings.
The sector minister expressed doubts about the likelihood the job will be completed on time.
The AUSL has been commissioned to assess work left and to advise when work will be completed. But at least, even before the project commenced, some timelines were agreed upon. So we hold them to the end of June. At the end of June, we'll come back to see whether work is completed or not. If it's not completed, the next action will be taken. At the end of June, inshallah, we'll come back and see whether work is completed or not.
He then urged them to double their efforts to be able to complete the project by June. The new Job 600, when completed, will serve as an office complex to house the members of parliament and offices for research assistants and secretaries.
The key witness in the ongoing election petition hearing, Dr. Mamadou Baumia, has accused the Electoral Commission of lying about its reasons for printing duplicate serial numbers and forms for the conduct of the 2012 general elections. In its pleadings, the Electoral Commission said the duplicate serial numbers were printed in anticipation of more presidential candidates filing to join the presidential race. However, Dr. Baumia repeatedly described the EC's reasoning as a lie when it was being cross-examined by the NDC's Chachu Chikata.
According to Dr. Baumia, the serial numbers on the face of the pink sheets were there to serve a purpose, and that the Electoral Commission paid money to go through tender in order to uniquely attach a serial number to a polling station code or name. Lead counsel for the EC, Koshi Aidan, however, objected to the accusations leveled against the Commission. Meanwhile, lawyers for the NDC have filed a motion seeking to cross-examine other witnesses who have testified via affidavits. The Supreme Court is expected to hear arguments on the application and rule before the substantive hearing of the election petition case, which continues on Tuesday. Spokespersons for both the petitioners and the respondents spoke to Joy News after the day's hearing.
The court has already given a directive that we put the exhibits, the pink sheets, into batches or lots. That's what we've been doing at the back office. So we brought some to them. You know, when we finish at the back office, they still want to check and make sure that they have double-checked what we are bringing. So we gave it to them. I think on Thursday, when we finished proceeding, we gave it to them. They said they were not able to look at it. So we have a lot more that we'll have to look through. So I think the court deemed it fit and proper that we look through this afternoon. Then tomorrow when we come, it could go faster. Because this is the same serial numbers. That's the category we are dealing with. And that's what we are saying, that even you can find same serial number on all the pink sheets, but the polling station, what identify a polling station is different. That is the code number, the name of the place, the name of the presiding officer.
Each polling station is required to have a pink sheet with a peculiar serial number. In our investigations, however, it was discovered that you could find the same serial number in more than one polling station with different code number and different results. That clearly is a breach of the security of the polls. Now, Mr. Chikata was seeking to establish that we had done some double counting by finding the same serial number in another category. But the explanation is that you will find the serial number in one category and its pair would be in another category. It may be in the same, but it will also be because that particular polling station may be dealing with a combination of other infractions.
Proceedings have meanwhile been adjourned to Tuesday, May 14.
Leaders of the Cantonment Market have denied any directive by the AMA asking them to move to other designated markets, including the Tuesday market in Accra. According to their leader, the AMA has not informed them about the relocation. And even if they have to go, there will be no space for them because there are too many of them to fit into the available space.
This was the state of the markets when we got there today. Though scattered, some traders still found some place to sell their items. Others were still counting their loss after the fire.
It becomes a gimmick. When you say go to Odona Tuesday market, over 15,000 people. So why can we go to Tuesday market and Odona market? Odona market is already, is given out already. And our numbers, even is far more than it can contain. We are talking a region of over 15,000 people. And Odona market is around 4,000. And it's almost full there.
According to their leader, Samuel Amwa, the Tuesday market cannot contain all of them. On the 6th of May, some traders were arrested by the police for rioting after the fire, armed with dangerous weapons with which they attacked members of the general public, but said it was due to miscommunication by some traders who heard the land had been sold to the Chinese.
There was lack of communication between from the top and our place. Initially, we heard they are going to sell the market to some Chinese people, so people were living in insecurity. The very day that the market was destroyed, we heard okay, we are going to be sacked. So the next day we heard that the Zoom Lion vehicles were around. So okay, then it's true, and that's what the people go out there. It is not the best, but it was a matter of panic reaction.
The construction of the new market is set to begin in July.
Fraud and other irregularities, operations remain hotline in the informal sector. For convenience and cost sake, low-income earners will rather save with Susu collectors than with a bank whose processes they consider highly cumbersome. Abigail Adomako Enchi has more.
Several banks and other financial institutions are springing up in the country but are yet to fully operationalize in the informal sector. Traditional Susu collectors have rather gained grounds in the sector, providing informal means mostly for low-income earners to save and access credit. Several operators are known to have collected monies and absconded with them, but others are still trusted. David Asafuache Ajayi Tego has been a collector for the past 31 years and has about 700 clients.
We collect the money and then pay them, we give it back to them at the end of the month. So there's nothing like interest on it, but they save with us in order for them to pay their children's school fees, their electricity bill, whatever commitment they have, maybe their house rent and other things, and then they pay. As I work, as an intervals, I'll be.
We do have some technical challenge there, so the story didn't quite end. But in other stories, Vice President Kwesi Mizaratha has urged the International Finance Corporation to enlarge its holdings here in Ghana and extend more support to local small and medium enterprises. He was addressing a delegation from the IFC who called on him at the Flagstaff House today.
The group was led by its new Vice President for Sub-Sahara Africa, Jean-Philippe Prosper. The IFC is a member of the World Bank Group, which finances and provides advice for private sector ventures and projects in developing countries. The Vice President said they could take advantage of government's focus on public-private partnership and create avenues for domestic bond market for local participation.
We need to do that so that the economic development becomes broad-based. It doesn't become something that's left to a small portion of the people. I've used the opportunity of your visit to look at the IFC portfolio in Ghana, and I have some concerns about the size is too small. If I look at the portfolio, it's almost like every one of the companies that you support is foreign-based, or foreign investments that are coming here. And I don't see enough. There's some, but not enough support for local participation.
In response, Jean-Philippe Prosper indicated their interest in the water and transportation sector, but noted it was up to the government of Ghana to direct these investments.
Now, I agree with you that we should do more, we can do more, and we will ask for your support. There are a number of projects that we are looking at, actually, that are pretty significant. They may require, of course, some decision on the part of the government in terms of what you want to reform or not to reform, but we are ready to help. But often the perception is it's risky, it's this, it's that, etc. So for us, we consider it is very important in our role to play a catalytic role to bring investors to Africa. Last year we did 4 billion, and this year we'll do between 4.5 and 5 billion in sub-Saharan Africa, which has become the second largest region for IFC after Latin America.
The IFC says its focus on multinational organizations as against small and medium-scale enterprises is due to the fact that their presence have positive trickling-down effect on the SMEs. Their focus with SMEs is to provide capacity building and some funding through local financial institutions.
After monitoring agricultural programs in 4 regions in the country, the Social Enterprise Development Foundation, SEND Ghana, has launched a report that tracks government investment in the agriculture sector. The report points out issues emerging in the implementation of various programs and provides recommendations to address them.
Though Ghana has shown consistency in the agricultural sector by hitting a minimum of 10% of the national budget, SEND Ghana says there is no more to be done. It says in its report that the right investment decisions are not being made for the sector because, in spite of the fact that more resources were devoted to the sector, growth has rather been abysmal. The study showed that, though having access to water plays a critical role in ensuring that farmers can engage in their activities, 97.2% of 225 smallhold farmers did not have access to irrigation schemes. It also showed that there's no gender parity of beneficiaries in government agricultural program, confirming male beneficiaries comprise 56 to 85% in all the participating communities.
The small-scale farmer is still not benefiting. The targeting is poor. By targeting, for example, the Youth in Agriculture program, which get a huge government investment, majority of the beneficiaries are men. In some regions, as much as 80%. So what happened to the women? The simple reason is the way in which the government goes about selecting those who participate in the project. They do not use a targeting mechanism that recognizes that women have different needs. The number of extension staff is very low. So the farmers may get tractors, they may get fertilizers, they may get improved seeds, but they are not able to maximize those in terms of production.
The report, however, has some recommendations for government.
The government needs to revise the targeting mechanism to make them gender sensitive. By gender sensitive, we mean you should recognize that men and women farmers have different needs. Their resource endowment are different. So therefore, you should factor that in how you select women and how you select male farmers. We're also suggesting that it would be important for communities to be involved. It would be important that you use the poverty index vulnerability assessment to help determine who benefit from the different services. The extension services needs to be strengthened. They need more resources. More important than that, they need more training.
Meanwhile, Ministry of Food and Agriculture Deputy Minister pointed out some lapses in the report, but agreed irrigation is an issue and has already been identified by the ministry, which is working to solve it.
This report, as presented by SENT, just goes to confirm that the Ministry of Food and Agriculture has identified the right issues and beginning to put its resources in the right areas to grow the sector. I know that the Ministry of Food and Agriculture has an elaborate plan to expand the irrigation dimension of agriculture. And the intention is to try and raise the land acreage or land irrigation coverage from the current 50,000 hectares to 500,000 hectares in the next couple of years.
The report is expected to encourage the government to rethink its investments and programs.
U.S. retail sales rose unexpectedly in April after falling back in the previous month. The Commerce Department says retail sales crept up 0.1% during the month after a 0.5% fall in March, which had been the largest in 9 months. Excluding petrol station sales, retail spending rose by some 0.7%, suggesting consumers are increasing their spending. Consumer spending accounts for 2/3 of U.S. economic activity. Core sales, which strip out cars, petrol, and building materials and correspond most closely with the consumer spending component of gross domestic product, increased by 0.5%. Next up, bring you some smart investment tips.
Joy News Business was brought to you in association.
Time for the very latest in the world of sports. My name is George Ad Jr. Let's do soccer, and another super clash between Accra Hearts of Oak and Kumasi Asante Kotoko will ensue at the Baba Sports Stadium in a few weeks. But this time with a different motive, different spirit, and different set of players.
Ex-players of the two Ghanaian giants, Hearts of Oak and Kumasi Asante Kotoko, will square off at the Baba Sports Stadium to relive past times. Both clubs have produced many players who have gone on to become top stars. Kotoko is expected to parade some of their old players, including Golden Boy Abdul Razak, Opukwe Friye, Joe Debra, Frimpong Manson, Isaac Boache, Edupoku, Prince Polly, Michael Osei, Baba Amando, amongst others. And Hearts, on the other hand, will parade a crack team comprising of Stephen Appiah, Amankwa Mreku, Emmanuel Ama, Sam Johnson, Ablade Kuma, Ishmael Ado, James Nano and Jacob Nete, amongst others. The two teams are expected to renew their age-long rivalry with huge numbers expected in Kumasi. This is the first time that former players of the two glamorous clubs will be involved in such a friendly to raise funds to support the Kumasi Special Orphanage School.
All right, so we're looking forward to that. Let's do some more. And managerial changes are set to hit Manchester side of England at the end of the season. And while Manchester United are setting about who would step in for the retiring Sir Alex Ferguson and David Moyes, Manchester City are no closer to knowing the replacement for Roberto Mancini after huge favourite Manuel Pellegrini hinted his lack of interest to take over reins at Islands. Well, so what a story it has been for Roberto Mancini, but we can say now that the party for Manchester United is officially over, and maybe attentions could be shifted now to Chelsea's final against Benfica in the Europa League on Wednesday. That'll be all for sports. My name is George Adder Jr. Do have a good night. Israel will join us with Showbiz.
Sports was brought to you in association with
Now, being the leader of a professional group comes with its own excess baggage, which the leaders should be ready to handle. But it appears the current president of Musica, Baisose Kufuor, probably didn't consider the associated stress that comes with the job when he wanted to be president. He tells Showbiz his music career is virtually at a standstill because of his new position.
So in a recent interview with the Musica president, I asked him why he wasn't churning out hits like Ming Wubio, and he admitted his creativity was diminishing.
I've led a small company before, but leading an organization of over 4,000 people with different sentiments, especially extremely emotional people who are musicians. I mean, it's a very, very difficult task. But we're doing our best there. I have the support of a very, very strong and viable team who are always ready and willing to assist. So far, we're so good. Aboard the artist, he is suffering. Aboard the artist I struggle. In the past, I normally use a week to write a song. The last time I tried writing a song was for the Musica Peace compilation. It took me 4 months. I hadn't still finished writing the song, so I had to hire the services of a colleague to help me do the writing. Because I don't know, man.
So does it mean that Obo will no longer be singing?
I know after my 4 years, if I decide to do a hit song, my fans will pardon me because they know I'm helping grow the industry.
Okay, so hopefully we will get to hear something from Obo when his term of office as president is over.
That's it for the bulletin. Before we go, we can take a quick look at our top stories. 2 suspected armed robbers have been lynched in the Ashanti region, even as the regional capital remains in panic mode over recent killings. Star witness for petitioners in the election petition hearing has confronted the EC about explanations for printing duplicate serial numbers on its forms.